Hey, my name's Pixel. Hey, Curious Pixel. So today you're gonna tell me about the characters in Kamen Rider, right? Yep, and the thing is, after some thought, I realized I don't have much to say about the side characters, so I could talk about the villains as well. Oh, okay. How about we go over the side characters and then the villains afterwards? Sure, so aside from Takeshi Hongo and Hayato Ichimonji, who we went over last time, there are several other characters in this show. However, there are only two characters that I personally think are important. The first one is Tobei Tachibana, who I think is the most important side character in Kamen Rider, and he is actually a recurring character in other Kamen Rider series. Tobei is Takeshi's motorcycle coach and is a father figure to him and Hayato. With his strictly a kind love, I would say he is one of the biggest reasons why Takeshi and Hayato are able to retain their humanity despite being a monster. Another character that I would like to mention is Kazuya Taki. Kazuya is an undercover FBI agent who helps the Kamen Riders out like a sidekick. He's just a normal human being, but he's a very strong fighter. I personally really like Kazuya. Maybe it's the actor's personality, but Kazuya made the story scenes more fun and the action scenes more exciting. Oh, okay, that was really brief. So next up is the villains then, right? Well, before I talk about the villains, I need to go over two words with you. Kaizo Ningen and Kaijin. Kaizo Ningen means mechanically modified human. This is one of the reasons why English subtitles for Kamen Rider have translated the word Kaizo Ningen as cyborgs. Kamen Rider is a Kaizo Ningen as well as every member of Shocker. So you could say that Kamen Rider is a show about the battle between cyborgs. Every time I've used the word monster with you, I've actually meant Kaizo Ningen. I personally like to translate it as a monster compared to cyborg because the Kaizo Ningen and Kamen Rider are based off of animals and are very organic looking. For example, Kamen Rider is based off of a grasshopper. By the way, just an FYI, but a more common way to refer to cyborgs in Japanese is cyborg. So they just used the English word. Anyways, next is the word kaijin, which means a strange person. The word kaijin existed way before Kamen Rider, but was popularized along with the show. The reason this word was used in the show is because the studio wanted to differentiate the humanoid monsters in Kamen Rider from the giant monsters kaiju in the Godzilla films and the Ultra series. In Kamen Rider, kaijin applies to the humanoid monsters that work under Shocker. And so, the Kamen Riders are Kaizo Ningen, but they're not kaijin because they don't work under Shocker. With this in mind, let's look at how the evil organization Shocker is structured. Shocker consists of the combatants at the bottom, next up is the kaijins, next up is the executives, and all the way at the top is the leader. Let's take a look at each of these. The lower-rank members of Shocker are simply called the Sentoin, or combatants in English. Kamen Rider popularized the idea of low-rank enemies that are not narratively important. So these combatants simply exist to do the grunt work for the more important villains and be defeated over and over again by the hero during the action scenes. And the design of the combatants in Kamen Rider originally looked like this. Oh, that's creepy. They actually got popular with this design? Nope. So this is how they look like until episode 13. From episode 14, they look like this. Okay, now that's silly on the other hand. Yep, they wear full-body tights and they often let out a high-pitched "ee" whenever they do something. This design and their voice was so impactful that even today when people think of a stereotypical mob enemy, they think of this guy. So even from the mob enemy design, you could tell how different Kamen Rider is from episode 14 onward. Next up is the kaijins. But I'll talk about them along with the executives because the executives have a human form and a kaijin form, just like how Takeshi Hongo and Hayato Ichimonji could transform into Kamen Rider. For Shocker, there are three executives which are Colonel Zol, Dr. Shinigami, and Ambassador Hell. The first executive is Zoltaisa, or Colonel Zol in English. He's a very strict and militaristic man. I thought the actor for him was really cool, and he portrayed the result really well. Colonel Zol transforms into the monster Okami Otoko, or Wolfman. For me, I was a bit disappointed with the Wolfman form because I thought Zol's coolness disappeared. I suppose it just shows how the actor added most of the charm to Zol. The second executive is Shinigami Hakase, or Dr. Death God in English. I'll just refer to him by the name that came up on Google search, which was Dr. Shinigami. Dr. Shinigami, as you can see, is super creepy, and I think the actor did a fantastic job portraying him. Dr. Shinigami's Kaijin form is Ika Devil or Squid Devil. I like the design, but man, the episode that he transforms into Squid Devil is so weirdly silly that I actually didn't like it. Huh, that's weird to hear. What happened in that episode? Well, basically, in order to defeat Kamen Rider, Squid Devil abducts and forces Tobei to train him. So imagine this, a creepy executive transforms into a giant squid, goes to a gym, and trains. For me, the idea of it was so silly, but because I liked Dr. Shinigami for being creepy, I didn't like what happened in the episode. But this mismatch of the character and the story might have happened because Squid Devil wasn't the monster that Dr. Shinigami was supposed to transform into. Oh, that's weird. Why did they change the monster? Well, it was a complicated situation, but Takeshi's actor went missing and it screwed up the filming and the airing of the episodes 66, 67, and 68. Oh boy, Kamen Rider sure faced a lot of problems with his production. What happened to Takeshi's actor? Was he really abducted or something? No, nothing like that. If I try to tell it as simply as possible, well, this is basically what happened. Takeshi's actor went to an audition and he received a role for a drama series by a different studio. However, the problem is that he did this without the approval of Toei. This led to complications between the studios, and the actor was overwhelmed by the situation and abandoned the filming for Kamen Rider for a few sessions. Anyways, going back to Dr. Shinigami, the actual monster that he was supposed to transform into is Girizamitsu in episode 67. You could tell that Girizamitsu was supposed to be a special monster because he's wearing a gold chakra belt, which is only worn by an executive. I do need to mention though that this gold chakra belt started to appear from Dr. Shinigami, so the Wolfman that Colonel Zol transforms into isn't wearing one. Oh geez, I'm getting overwhelmed by the complications. Well, no worries, nothing too complicated will come up from here on. So next up is the third executive, Jigok Taishi or Ambassador Hell. This is his human form? Yep, he already looks like a monster, but he's still in his human form. He looks like this because he's actually just wearing a costume. Now that's really silly. Honestly, I don't know if I could take him seriously. Yeah, I feel ya, but man, the actor made it work though. He gave so much charm to Ambassador Hell. And because of this, Ambassador Hell is one of the most popular executives of Kamen Rider, and he appeared the longest in the show. His monster form is Garagaranda, which I was a bit disappointed because, it doesn't look as impactful as his human form. So far you've only been disappointed in the monster forms for all of the executives. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, the monster designs aren't bad, but it's just that the actors for the executives were simply too good. Oh, okay, so that's it for the Shocker executives, huh? So, how about the leader? Hold on a minute though, it might be the end of Shocker, but that means it's the start of Gerishoka. What? What the heck is Gel Shocker? Well, after Ambassador Hell was defeated, the leader of Shocker joined forces with another organization, Geldom, to create Gel Shocker. However, the leader ordered for all of his remaining members of Shocker to be executed, so it's primarily made of members from Geldom. Why the heck did he kill all of his former members? Because he's evil. Oh, okay, well, go on. With the introduction of Gel Shocker, two things changed. One, the design of the mob enemies changed into this brightly colored outfit. I like this design because it's drastically different from the previous one. And two, the monster of the week is a combination of two animals instead of just one. So yeah, this drastic change of the enemy organization is pretty cool in my opinion, but aside from the design change, the episodes themselves didn't seem that different from usual. Because Del Shocker was introduced so late in the series, there's only one executive, Black Shogun or General Black. He was kind of like a mixture of Colonel Zol and Dr. Death. Militaristic, but kinda creepy. Just like with the Shocker executives, the actor for General Black was really good too. And he transformed into this abomination, Hirukabeleon or Leech Chameleon. I'm a bit mixed with this design. I like how grotesque it looks, but it's hard to tell what exactly I'm looking at. Okay, so now that we went over all the executives, the only one left is the leader, right? Yeah, but I would say that the way the leader was handled at the end was the biggest disappointment of the show for me. I was so put off by it that I didn't even bother drawing it. Oh boy, how bad is it? What made it so bad? The thing is, you hear the Shocker leader's voice throughout the entire series, and I gotta say, it's awesome. He sounds so catchy, I guess, for the lack of a better word. I personally think it's fun to imitate his voice, and it just sounds so evil, but it puts a smile on my face. But the identity of Shocker is too random. Well, turns out he's a space alien, cyclops looking thing wrapped in snakes. And he was really weak, so yeah. The final episode was very lackluster for me. That sucks to hear. I guess Kamen Rider didn't end with a bang. Nope, it sure did it. It makes sense though. The show isn't narratively driven, so there's not much of a build-up to the final episode. I see. I think I understand why you didn't enjoy the show that much. Yeah, but as I said previously, there's a lot of charm to this show, which led to the huge Kamen Rider franchise that still exists today. Okay, well, maybe I'll check it out someday. Well then, I'll see you again when I get curious about another show. Take care. Alright, sounds good. See ya!